rugby challenge. There's the USA starting lineup, a good balance from the USA with Josh Wheeler, a real speedster in the 10 shirt, the experience of Seth McBride, and Chuck Aoki, their star man, wearing the number 5 shirt. For their opposition, well, more of a high-low combination there, as you can see with the classifications. The two B-boys, Bat and Bond, 3.5ers, and then Nazim Erdem and Ryan Scott expected to make sure that there are no gaps in the defence. Here's the ball slam from the USA, part of their team shout to get them going. Expectant crowd. They know that this tournament is just about to move up in the gears as we get to the semi-finals. Delighted to be joined once again by Mike Spence. Mike, good evening. This one, well, how do you call this from the word go?
Well, I think it could be fairly close. I mean, Australia have kept USA out of the championship final since Vancouver World Championships in 2010. They've comprehensively beaten USA in those competitions, in those semi-finals. One at London and one in Denmark last year.
Fair to say this Australia team is a new team in terms of the last 3 or 4 years, though. So I guess history books kind of irrelevant for this particular matchup.
Yeah, I suppose so, really. I mean, USA have got a mix of old and new as well in their team. I'm really excited to see what happens, actually, because, USA are a very dynamic team on the court. They're going to be looking to tie Bat and Bond up and try and break up their synergy.
Early timeout called from the USA side. One of the 4 timeouts from the court allowed for each team, 2 from the benches in terms of coaches' timeouts. Seth McBride, the Portland pounder, is going to get match back in with the inbound, but it's not a clean take from Wheeler.
Well, that's a turnover straight away to Australia. Pretty much unforced error as well, really.
Riley Bat wings his way around the side to get the try on the board. He's had plenty of tries on the board. Riley Bat, 96 in the 3 games so far. Nobody has come near him in the try-scoring table. You had the 54 that Chris Bond's already accrued. And you can see those really are the 2 main men for the Steelers throughout the course of this tournament. Great pick-up from Wheeler, and the offload immediately to Aoki. Bat coming back to try and shunt him out the way.
Great play originally there by Riley Bat. Used his power to overplay Chuck Aoki, denying him a path to the goal, but bit rash really going in to try and get that held ball, because he draws a contact, gives US another 40 seconds on the shot clock to score their goal now against 3 Australians.
Yes, that's the maximum time, don't forget, between one end and the other for the attacking team. Slaloming his way through, not looking to get the try scored too early so that his team then are in position to defend immediately. And Riley Bat coming back out of the box for the Australians. Now, Chris Bond with the inbound. Bond to Bat. How many times are we going to say that through the course of this game?
It's clever work there that the US half-pointer, point 5, is trying to tie up Erdem, the Australian, so as he can't help Bat progress up court. But Bat and Bond are so powerful, they're going to be very, very hard forced to stop this evening.
There's a 3-man committee on Aoki, forcing the lower pointers to have to play it, and they can't control the ball, and Riley Bat goes over, and suddenly there is a 2-try advantage for the Australians, and we're only inside the first 90 seconds. See the work that Pat was doing there on Josh Wheeler. There's Wheeler with a little offload. He comes through at pace to make it count.
Really nice work there from Josh Wheeler. He pulled both the high pointers into him, giving a really clear outlet for USA to score.
If you're just joining us, the high pointers tend to have the more flexibility in their game, and they have the more rounded wheelchairs like Chris Bond has got there. The lower pointers have less manoeuvrability, perhaps less flexibility in their actions, and they have the pick tray right at the front of their chariots. You'll see them in a minute. There's two of the high pointers there. Lovely offload from back to Bond.
Yeah, there's great work there originally from Seth McBride holding up Chris Bond, but he sort of zipped it off him a bit, allowed Bond to run to score that last point. Great pressure there from Australia. Ryan Scott got a really good pick there on Chuck Aoki. Chuck had to call the timeout.
And you see the value there of the lower pointers. Ryan Scott, a .5er. There he is, the Aussie captain, doing his job, just stunting that USA attack. Ryan back, the number 3, the superstar really of this sport. No legs from birth, and actually got himself around on a skateboard till the age of 12. Such great power, upper body power, and then was convinced to use the wheelchair. You can see what he brings to the team. Aoki for the USA finds a way down the right flank. Wheeler's away, and that's good teamwork from the USA. They needed that try on the board right now.
Fantastic work then again by Seth McBride, really showing his skills as a really good player in offence. He's doing the same now in defence, working together to tight these hard pointers. Look, he's pushing right up there, controlling back, but Bond is away there for the score.
Simple start for Chris Bond when it's laid on a plate like that. Bond, one of the 3 Queenslanders in this Australian squad. Majority coming from Victoria, back the only odd man out, I suppose, from New South Wales. Okay. Finds charging up, gets a lucky ricochet and offloads to Seth McBride. Well, USA getting slight fortune there in that play, but making the most of it.
It's just keep them in touch, isn't it? You know, we've just got a 1-point margin before this score, so you know, US still very much in the game here.
That's a long, hopeful pass, and Wheeler's able to pick up. Now there's turnover ball for the USA. Big play coming up. Can they make it count? It's out to McBride, and they pull themselves level.
Yeah, fantastic work in defence there by USA. Tying Riley back up, making him pass that ball off up to Bond. You know, he lost direction, and we got a really good turnover here from the USA.
Looking to make the most of it, trying to get outside Aoki and managing to just squeeze his way through.
Yeah, Aoki's really trying hard here to control Riley Bat in defence. You know, Bat has so much more power than Aoki. He's a half point higher in classification, but Aoki working really hard. That's a great inbound there from Jeff Butler as well. Remember, he's a 0.5 player. He'll have no tricep in his arms, but he's still able to get that brilliant one-handed pass away on the inbound. You wouldn't usually have a 0.5 inbounding from the baseline, especially in a pressured game like this.
Great accuracy paying off for the USA. There it is. Lovely take as well from Aoki. Pressure defence from the USA, trying to tie the Australians inside their half, but they get the escape clause through Bat's pass. Bond just waiting for support from his mate, and the inevitable try is there from Bat. Over 100 tries already in this tournament for Australia's number 3.
Yeah, the USA are doing well controlling Bond, but they're struggling to keep Batter under control. I wonder whether Josh Wheeler might be better tying up Riley Batter, because he's a bit more dynamic, much quicker around the court.
Good steerage from McBride, keeping hold of it and almost getting there and succeeding. You can see the way that the Australians defend, so aggressive. Not paying off there though.
Yeah, Wheeler's doing well to help him get through there.
Riley Batt sits so high in the chair that that's the extra balance for him in those sort of positions. Officials calling things to a halt just for a moment to check Wheeler's bindings in his chair.
Yeah, you take big hits in these chairs. Lots of these athletes use strapping to keep them in their seats, and you know, a few big whacks and those strappings can come loose. You need to be kept really, really tight in the chairs. You don't want to be moving around.
Okay, being hemmed in on that far side, but McBride offers and gets and turns on the burners, just manages to go around the rim. Oh, has he got through there? Yeah, tries being given. Great work from Seth McBride under real pressure in that corner.
Yeah, Wheeler, before this shot, Rick Wheeler is doing some great work supporting Seth McBride. You know, Seth McBride's doing a lot of ball carrying, and yet he's a two-pointer.
Checking, there's going to be change from the US bench. 3 on, 3 off. Aoki remains the constant. Australia staying with the starting 4, and Batt turns on the afterburners and speeds his way over for another try. See the work being done off the ball in order to set up position for the inbound pass. Working so hard to block, to open the passages, to set up the possibilities for the attack.
Yeah, so USA going for another balanced lineup, 3-2-2-1. They've got Eric Newby on now and Joe Delagrade. Two pretty experienced two-pointers.
Joe Delagrade there, wearing 14, there he is.
And they've got Chad Cohn on, it's a one-pointer, so he'll have more power than the .5 that they had on in the last lineup.
Chris Bond sitting this one out in the sin bin, so a 4 against 3 giving him an inevitable try, but Delagrade just waiting for the try. Now we've got a Help the Heroes game coming up after this first semi-final. Rachel Latham is talking to one of the participants. Rachel.
Yes, I've got Charlie Walker here. Now, you and your Help the Hero teammates are going to be going out next. You looking forward to the game?
Yeah, it should be a bit of a giggle. We've got Rupert Moon and Ugo Monya as well joining in, so we can have a bit of a giggle with them as well.
What do you make of Ugo?
He's a good lad. He turned up late, bless him. But yeah, he's a bit keen. Big lad, we'll get some use of him.
Now, you've made it right to the top of the Paralympics, London 2012, Invictus Games. The lads that are coming on today have a little bit less experience. Are they going to have the same ambition as you to get to the top?
Yeah, definitely. We use sport as a recovery vehicle to get guys back into life. So the further they can push themselves in the sport, the better it does them in life as well.
And if you have to give advice to the people who want to get back into sport and want to get their life going again, what would you say?
Just join in, contact Health Heroes, try and get involved in the Invictus Games and any of the sporting activities you do.
And obviously, we're going to be having the game coming up next. I was watching you in training earlier. You all seem to be enjoying yourselves. Is that the case?
Yeah, we like a bit of a giggle, just smash into each other and just have a bit of fun, really.
I think that's exactly what everybody wants. We'll go back to that Australia game now, see how they're getting on.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, it's even Stevens, as you can see from the scoreboard. We look forward to that Hunt for Heroes game in between it and see what Ugo Monyo can do up against Hubert Moon as Aoki takes a tumble. Play continues, full back. You can see just how physical this sport is. No quarter arsenal given. Yeah, Chris Bond's not going to move out the way of that, rightly so.
I think USA here, utilising Delagrade and Newby, they both sit quite high in their chairs. They're both quite tall players. So, you know, they're probably going to be able to help intercept passes, sit higher, be more distracting to the Australian team. I think having Chad Cohn as well, who's a bit quicker around the court, is going to help them greatly too. But you know, it's great to see that it's still only a 1-point game.
Just seeing, waiting for the Batmobile to get an extra wheel. There it is. Just 1 point difference between these teams inside the first 5.5 minutes. 3 more periods of 8 to come. As Aoki sees the way through and takes it and takes the tumble as well. Well, total commitment from Aoki to get over the try line, but he's really been battered and bruised in every sense of the word. Looking to see where that contact was as Bat came across him. Just look here. It has to be in front of that back axle in order to be legit.
I think Riley Batmark got a flagrant for that, which means that he'll be off. Flagrant foul means he'll be off for the 1 minute technical and then 2 more. And we'll see now when USA score their next goal. But this is a real opportunity here for USA to.
Right, just explain then, Mike, what the flagrant foul is.
Flagrant foul, you're not allowed to create a foul if a player is going in to score the point. It's dangerous and players can get hurt. Generally, you're moving at speed, and you know you just don't want to be doing it. The flagrant foul, like I say, gives you the opportunity really to get 3 points up. Now you can see here, US are running the time off on every one of these scores. So they want to manage the clock. They've only got 2 minutes left on the clock. They reckon they can manage this all the way down to the end of the quarter and give themselves probably a 2-point advantage. They've got the alternate possession arrow, so they'll have possession from the start of the second quarter as well.
So a big moment in the game for the Eagles. Just biding his time, just checking everybody's in position for the re-entrance of that man Riley Bat. Almost taking the officials out. Probably best not to. Chris Bond going around the M25 to get home. Great work from Bond. There's a tip though. Tip on Wheeler, and what's that called?
I don't know really. I mean, Josh Wheeler just tried to tie Bond up. Have a look at the replay now. He just tried to tie Bond up and tipped out, I think. One of the Australian players actually span him. There we go. Heard him actually span him. So I think that's going to come down to change of possession. So USA will have possession of the ball again.
It's all going the USA way at the moment. 90 seconds pretty much left on that clock. Just making sure she's got the best seat in the house. Yes, you're on TV. Great to see so many different people here. Some first footing into this sport and making the most of the opportunity to take in a completely different sporting entertainment.
So USA have changed again. Now, great thing about Jim Gumbert is he's not afraid to change his lineup, so he's brought his hard pointer back on now. Eric Newby's still on, 2-pointer, but Josh Wheeler, the 2.5, is back on court now. There's that great hard pointer, one-handed passing again.
Okay, works his way around, ignores Bond, can't ignore Bat. The B-boys become the Bash Brothers, trying to hold out the USA. But look at that work from Chuck Aoki, great resistance.
Well, and Josh Wheeler there put on a brilliant pick on the corner to give him the space to score.
Well, the man from Minnesota really showing his value and worth to the USA right now.
You can see here USA are really trying to pin Australia down low in their own half, making it really difficult for them to get out. Tying Bond up straight away, he's giving the inbound. I think they're putting a line trap on him to stop him from coming on court. He's getting on, but he's getting caught really low.
Bond on the right of your screen wearing 10. Aoki gets the release pass to Wheeler. Again, immediate attention from the two B-boys, but Aoki it is who speeds away.
Yeah, great skills there from Josh Wheeler. You can see here the transition. USA coming up to put this press on. So coming from low down on the court, up trying to get in position.
53 seconds in this first period.
Now they'll try and deny this pass. Got the hard pointer passing. They're trying to deny the ball in. Sorry, Bat did really well there to get through.
Yeah, good skills from Bat to release Chris Bond. Now look down the other end of the court. 3 Australians just trying to close the door. Johnny Coggan, isn't it? In fact, no, beg your pardon, it's Jeff Butler, of course, trying to get the release, and the USA working it well to Newby. Well, the confidence levels really holding the USA in this game and beginning to build.
They've had a really good first quarter, actually. We've got 30, just coming up to 30 seconds on the clock. I'd imagine that Australia are going to try and manage the time now so they get the final score. So they'll manage to get 1 point back.
Riley Bat happy to just control the clock. The door closed abruptly in his face. Goes in the tradesman's entrance. A 2-try advantage for the USA right now. Can they add to it before the hooter goes for the end of the period? Good, lovely pass to Newby. That was sublime work from the USA side.
Right on the whistle, that one.
Well, there you go. We knew this game was going to be tight. We knew it was going to be right to the wire in every quarter. First quarter, though, has gone to the Eagles. They lead 17-15.
First quarter done and dusted in the first of our semi-finals. The USA leading Australia 17 tries to 15. Time to rejoin our commentary team, Simon Ward and Mike Spence.
Thanks, Martin. No changes to the Australian lineup for the USA. Well, Clayton Brackett is on wearing 21. Interesting to see how this changes the dynamic. Early China's on as well. Wheeler remaining on for the Eagles. Gets the offload, and there is Clayton Brackett making his 21st score of the week. Just look at these one-to-ones going on inside the Australian half. Bat eventually able to escape the clutches of the defenders to run in. Neither side able to make that complete break away from the others at the moment. Great pick up from John. That was beautiful handling skills there.
It was. You'll notice Ernie Chun is he's in a low point chair. He's in a defender's chair, but he's a 2-point player. Some teams like to use a 2-pointer in a low point chair because they're fast. They've got all the agility of an offensive player. They're stronger, so they can get a really good pick on. And we saw there that they had Riley Batt tied up, and he really struggled to get off the pick.
To the extent that Batt is now sitting out this next minute, Wheeler working his way through, and again he'll just bide his time here to let his teammates get into position. You see Chris Bond being absolutely hemmed in by the other three Eagles. In fact, now working back, and Wheeler's got to make sure this one counts. Still 12 seconds left on the shot clock, making it count, and now Wheeler himself back into position, back on the park.
Yeah, so Riley is able to get more mobile now. The two low pointers couldn't pick up Bond. Riley was able to run, but they're working hard here trying to get him. Failing this time.
It's easy stuff for Riley Batt in situations like that.
So you can see Australia's two half pointers here have tied up Ernie Chun at the top. He can't move. Oh, that's
Physical there.
yeah, it's good work between Wheeler and Clayton Brackett. Yeah, sometimes Riley Batt reaches in a bit too much, really. They were overplaying those two. He reaches in, and, you know, he just loses his momentum.
Well, Batt going to sit out again. You see the physical nature of the Australian number 3. That's the way he plays the game. And he's now going to have to sit and watch once again as Clayton Brackett meets Bond head on. Good work from Chun. And Brackett finds the way home. Again, just letting the teammates get into position for the next play. Brackett, a relatively new addition to this USA side. Made his debut in Toronto this year.
These three fives, Bond and Batt, they're so hard to tie up. Even with the two low pointers holding Chris Bond, he was able to jump out of that pick. Got a feeling that was contact before the whistle call. So that's why Clayton Brackett is off now. They're just allowing Australia to score because they don't want the penalty goal, because that will mean that Brackett will have to stay in the sin bin.
Nearly 2 minutes gone of this second quarter, and still 2 tries between the two teams. Bond needing a little support work. Let's get down courtside and get some thoughts from Steve Brown. Steve, what do you make of these opening exchanges?
I'm enjoying what I'm seeing in terms of the energy into the game, and you're seeing a lot of Riley Batt ending up in the bin, in the sin bin, and that's purely because of the reaching that he's doing. Every time he reaches in, he's being called for contact, but the truth is that if the ball gets past him, it's very, very likely that Australia are going to score. So at least if they have to inbound and try again, it's slowed them down, and it's given his team a bit of an advantage just for a second.
Steve, well, Brackett able to make the most of that with the pass to Wheeler. It's noticeable, Mike, how this game has upped the ante from what we've seen through the first 3 days. This game has definitely got an edge to it, hasn't it?
Oh, it's definitely very, very high pace. You can see the, well, I'd say animosity between the two teams. Josh Wheeler was going in to score that point. Chris Bond gave him an absolute clattering from behind, trying to hit him over the baseline before he scored. But Josh Wheeler, skilled as he is, managed to get the goal in. See there, Jeff Butler really helped bracket out there. These low pointers, they do a fantastic job on court. Higher pointers could not exist at this level without them.
Bracket 2.5, struggling to get the ball away from the attention of Bond and also Ryan Scott.
Yeah, the other advantage of being a 3-5 is that your arms and hands very, very fast, very powerful. Whereas bracket has a 2.5, you can't react as quickly.
Australia with the inbound and a big play coming up. That calling and getting and then offloading for Bond to release the handbrake and head downtown for another try to bring Australia back within one.
Yeah, we've gone back now to the Aoki, Delagrade, Newby and Chad Cone lineup.
Newby getting the offload away, and that's good passing from Newby to allow Aoki to go over. Inside the last 5 minutes of this second quarter. Bond turns to find Delagrave and Newby right in his face. What's the call there?
I think Bond he called a timeout, but I don't know whether. Yeah, I think it definitely was a timeout. He was being pushed out of bounds with the ball. He had to call it, otherwise it would have been another change in possession.
Right, let's get thoughts from inside the Australian camp. Rachel Latham, who have you got there?
I'm here with the team manager and we are constantly looking up at the board. USA are obviously in the lead. Are you confident you can turn this around?
Yeah, definitely. We've had a really strong start. We were unfortunate with a flagrant call on Riley then, and that sort of gave us a 3-goal turnaround that hurt us a little bit. But you know, we're starting strong in the second quarter here, and we've already forced one turnover with a jump then. So yeah, definitely.
Riley's been in and out of that sin bin. Is there a bit of tension out there?
A little bit. I think it's you know, we're getting really close to getting those jump balls, which are what's needed. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, Riley loves to just get his hands in there, and we're going to get one soon.
Do you feel like this is the first time that Australia have been under pressure in this tournament?
No, definitely not. You know, the rest of the world's catching up. Gone are the days of us being able to sort of go out there and smash it by 10. And definitely that game against Japan, we were sort of pushed a bit against Japan. And even that game against GB as well at the end. You know, we've been under pressure.
Obviously, Australia ranked #1 in the world. They're going to want to stay there. What can they do to make sure they get back on top in this game?
I think just force a couple of turnovers and then score last in this quarter will be really important.
Well, we're still 22-21, so we'll get back to that game and see how they're getting on. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, Sid Van Veenendaal, the team manager of the Australian side, still confident that his team have got what it takes to get past this Eagle side. Lovely steering from Joe Delagrave.
Yeah, brilliant pick and roll there, but there was some great work by Chad Cone earlier on in that score. Yeah, it was working really well, allowing Newby to come up the court.
Ryan Scott coming back to take the inbound. High pressure defence. Wow, great work from the US defence there, not allowing Riley back to manoeuvre and forcing him into the dead ball area.
The trouble is, if you have your 0.5 inbound in the ball for the baseline, he can't pass very far. So those high pointers, at least one of them, has got to come down low. Riley came down low, and US were able to force him over the baseline.
Butler finds his man Aoki. Here's a big score for the US. Chuck Aoki finishing off a real team effort there now. Riley back. Good work from Chris Bond to open the door for his fellow 3.5er.
You know, though, these twos that Delagrade and Newby that US are using at the moment, they're really mixing it up. Newby's just put Bond on his back. US are very, very aggressive here, and they're very, very confident on court. Riley nearly missed a pass from the inbound. Was very, very lucky to pick it up. So I think the Australians a little bit rattled out there at the moment.
Both teams adrenaline fueled for this semi-final. Okay. Thanks for the call from Newby. In fact, the offload is there to Delagrave.
Again, Chad Cohn doing fantastic work, working with Chuck Aoki, taking Riley back out of the picture, allowing Chuck Aoki to pick and roll around him. Fantastic work.
Look at the work they're doing in defence there. It has to be an over-the-top lob ball that Chris Bond picks up on. So good work from Australia to release themselves from that situation. But you can just see that the work that the USA are doing.
Well, you know, Chad Cohn then chased Bond all the way to the line. That's a one-pointer chasing a 3-5.
Delagrave with the inbound. High pointer, Aoki. Good control, good steering from Aoki. Waiting for the opportunity to get that release into Newby. Now this time Chris Bond is going to take the inbound. He'll be looking for that. The timeout's been called.
Yeah, it's a fantastic denied press there by USA. They kept Riley back away from the inbound, so they were between him and the ball, forced him to take the timeout. Bond couldn't get the ball into him.
Seb van Vindendam said the difference at the moment is that flagrant foul to Riley Bat, and that's maintained, isn't it? You look at the scoreboard, that's the difference.
Yes, it is. But, you know, take your hats off to the USA. They've come out here, you know, they've not beaten Australia for 4 years at a major championships, and you know, they're having a real go this evening.
Okay, having a go at that. Well, managing to squeeze in now. Try is given.
Yeah, Newby left the court as Riley Bat crossed the line. So they would have given a penalty goal, but that's fine.
Riley Bat renowned as one of the best players in the world and getting recognition from his country as well, being awarded the Order of Australia medal in last year's Australian Day honours. So Newby just enjoys the view from the floor.
I didn't actually see what happened there. That was a great recovery by Chuck Aoki, because Delagrave lost the ball. Aoki managed to pick it up. Have a look now. See what happened there. There's certainly a lot of animosity out there, though, Simon.
Well, we call it edge. Animosity is the next step on from it, and you rightly say it is. You can see the coaches just having a chat from the officials there. Wonder what's being said to them right now. Both coaches being called in by the officials. I'm not sure the man they know was Gumby was too happy with that chat. Right grin on his face.
It's a shame these referees aren't mic'd up, isn't it? Like in rugby union, we'd have some idea what was going on.
Shame we can't lip read. There's the Aussie coach Brad Doubley. Officials just, I suspect, aware of the high degree physicality that we've seen through these first 13 minutes of game time.
Well, they also don't want to make the wrong decision, do they? You know, they don't want to disadvantage somebody by making a rash decision. So yes, they're taking a bit of time, but we want the right decision here.
Well, the decision would seem to be it's going to be an inbound for the USA. Delagrave wrestling his way to keep the ball in US possession, and Bat again sent to the sin bin.
again, you know, they're going in. Their team manager said they wanted to go in to get those help balls to create a turnover, but he's just getting called constantly for those fouls.
Delagrave waiting, the repositioning of his teammates.
The other thing as well is, you know, US are 2 points up here. Every time Riley Bat contacts, you get the 40 seconds back on the shot clock. So that's another opportunity. You know, US can run almost a minute of time off.
Management of the game clock crucial in these top quality games. Bat back. And Bond looking for his man. Look at that three-man reception committee. Great offload though from Riley Bat. And Bond makes the most of the opportunity. Australia really having to work hard to make sure that they can make the most of their inbound there.
Yeah, they're not having an easy time scoring their points here.
Well worked try from the US.
Yeah, they're finding it a lot easier to score at the moment than Australia are. That's a beautiful pass though from Chris Bond.
Beautifully weighted pass from the Aussie 10 and appreciated by his teammate. Delagrave staying strong on the ball.
That's a really good press there from Australia. You know, it's the first time they've been able to, or managed to pressure the US attack for a little while.
There you see James Gumbert has an overall record of 126 wins and 9 losses since he's been in charge of this USA side.
That's a pretty impressive record.
It's not bad, is it? Okay. Being stunted again by Riley Bat, but then breaking away.
Smart control for the US.
Seth McBride, the man making himself available for the finish.
Yeah, US have gone back to their 3-2-5, 2.5 lineup.
Well, the rainbow pass from Chris Bond does find the pot of gold on the end of it. Great finish there from Bat. Perhaps the longest pass I think we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, possibly. It just kills you when you're the opposition, you know, and you've done all that work, and then they're able to score in like a second. You can't get anywhere near them.
Whoa, Bat coming in on Aoki, but the pass is there for McBride, but he can't finish it. Well, great work from Bond, but the work that Bat did on Aoki there. Was there a finger in the face for the US man? Look at this. Good pass in the end from Aoki under pressure, but Bond coming through.
Yeah, he did hugely well there. Well, they both did. I don't think he hit him in the face there. I think he just flicked the ball on. But Seth McBride a little bit unlucky, but great pressure from Chris Bond.
See the commitment that these players put in. No such thing as a lost cause. Again, that huge overarm pass from Bond. This time Wheeler is back there, but it's going to have the same ending.
He's just he has great floor craft, Riley Bat. He manoeuvres his chair really well. Yeah, he reads the players as it unfolds in front of them. He knows what Wheeler's going to do. So he's able to, you know, counteract and beat him and score the point.
Big Aoki is strong enough to resist. Wheeler comes in to make the block. The release is there to McBride. And under duress, the USA score a very important try. Now, there's some very important seconds coming up towards half-time here. Because both teams now will be trying to manage that clock to ensure that they, A, get the maximum points out of this remaining period, but also try and get in control of the game and make sure they finish the half.
Yeah, we've got a minute second on the clock, so it's going to be a bit of cat and mouse now for the team to get the first score or the last score of this quarter, because US again had the inbound from the start of the next quarter, so that will give them another 1 point advantage.
Into the final minute of this first half. Riley back now shows his bowling skills. Bond just takes a right turn that takes too sharply. Just looked to try and turn the corner too severely there. Didn't seem to be any contact as Wheeler took the possession.
Well, Wheeler did a great job there intercepting the pass. I mean, Bond was working really hard to try and get it back. There was no, Bond just went over. There was nothing malicious in that at all. Unfortunately as well, Chris Bond is okay.
Wheeler to McBride. You can see the Australians keeping their opposite numbers in their own half, and look at the chat going on. Well, we mentioned it before, some call it banter. This has got a little more to it, I suspect, than just idle comic words. And once again, Riley Bat is going to sit out time.
I think he felt it was a bit hard done by there, but from where we are here, it looks like a reaching in foul to me. These officials are very, very experienced. But they can only call it as they see it.
Waiting for the moment to release, keeping their eye on that match clock.
That reaching in foul that Riley got then, that gives the US all the clock time now. They can run this right down to 0. They don't have to worry.
Okay, just edging his way through, waiting for the hooter to go there. The try is scored. Australia allowed to restart, 3 tries behind, but it's going to stay that way at half-time. Well, it has been a fascinating and intriguing first half of wheelchair rugby. The USA have managed to keep themselves in front of the world's best wheelchair rugby side. Join us after the break when Martin Stephen Ugo will discuss that first half that has ended. The USA 32, Australia 29.
Half-time here at the Copper Box in the first of our semi-finals, and the USA have found a way so far of taming Riley Bat and this awesome Australian machine. They lead by 3 points, 32-29. And Steve Brown, what are the USA doing which is keeping them in the lead?
The thing that they're doing really, really well is on Australia's inbounds. They've got a choice. They can either have Chris Bond inbounding, which means that Riley's the only player out there with any sort of function to get the ball, and the American team's just completely swarming him, not letting the ball in. Alternatively, they have the low point they're inbounding, Ryan Scott, and then it means that everyone's coming down so low, they're all on the baseline. So much pressure on the Australians at the moment.
Well, it'd be a huge effort for them to keep that pressure up, see if they can do it. Ugo, You're going to head off now and get changed, ready for your Help for Heroes game. How are you feeling?
Pretty nervous, Bates. If I don't see you again, it's been a pleasure.
Always a joy, always a joy. Go out there, do us proud. Whatever you do, don't make yourself look stupid.
Cheers, pal.
Okay, let's return now to the professionals. And our commentary team, Simon Ward and Mike Spence.
Well, the USA were the top team in this sport for 6 years, really, up until 2012. They won medals at all 4 Paralympic tournaments. And then the new force, if you like, of Australia, beating Canada in the World Championships last year to really cement what they're about. And they will not be lying down for this one, that's for sure, especially with that man, Riley Batt, on fire at the moment.
Yeah, just got a quick turnover there. We've got a change. We've got Rob Della on, who's another 3-pointer. He's just on, I think, probably to give Chuck Aoki a bit of a rest.
There is Mr. Della going over for the first score for him. And just ensuring that that 3-try deficit stays intact for now. Chris Bond looking for his man back. There it is. It's the axis that's worked so well for Australia. And the partnership that the USA are desperately trying to break up.
Yeah, they're still pushing Australia right to the line, though the intensity's still there. Sometimes it can be quite hard to pick it up after half-time. You've stopped for 5 minutes. They've had a change as well. Rob Della would have been sat on the bench for the whole of the first half. You know, it's probably going to take him a little while to get back into it. So Australia managed to get back 1 turnover. So we're back sort of on as even where we were before now when Della scores.
Della scores again. How significant is it, Mike, that the Australians have still got that starting quartet in place on the court?
Well, they're having to play. They can't sub Batt and Bond off. That's their strongest lineup. They've just got to keep using them. You know, they don't have a great deal of depth on their bench, whereas the US are confident in using pretty much all of their players. And you know, Australia have had a pretty tough run-in. They've had, you know, they had a very tight game against Japan. Great Britain gave them a really good run-out as well. You know, I'd imagine that these two, particularly, are going to be starting to feel it towards the end of this tournament.
Well, Matt Lewis is the other 3.5 option for the Australians off that bench. Not as much of an impact player, should we say, as Bond and Batt.
Yeah, Wheeler got a bit stuck there, right on the sideline. So he's called a timeout just to protect himself. And it looks like Tim Gumber's going to make another substitution now.
Well, again, significantly, you look at the scoreboard and see the timeouts. And although we're only in the 3rd quarter, the USA really, I think, have gone down to no timeouts on the court now.
Yeah, and Australia will be really happy about that because now when they pressure them,
they've got to play.
They've got to play. Yeah, USA have got to play. They can't stop the game with a timeout.
The tactics of the timeout becoming more and more evident as the pressure and the intensity increases in these games.
Yeah, we're back to Joe Delagray and Seth McBride on now. So that 3-2-2-1 balanced lineup. Delagray has a bit more height. Seth McBride has a huge amount of experience. Probably one of the best 2-pointers in the world.
And Aoki back in as well. Finds Delagray. The agitated defence of those 2 B-boys. Really working overtime to make it as difficult as possible to score the try. Wow, the pass from Bond doesn't find his mate. And here is a big moment for the USA.
Yeah, this is a massive turnover. Yeah, we've got a 2-point advantage. I thought it was 3 points, but 2-point advantage. Now a turnover. And we'll put US up by 4 if they get this point scored.
Okay, having a look round. Some opportunities there could be. Bond hovering. Matt in there as well with the block. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Australia, and they've recovered that situation and now looking to mount the counter-attack. Bond gets ahead of Delagrave, and that is a big re-turnover, if that's such a phrase.
It is, yeah. You know, Australia did really well there. Chakayoka a bit lazy, trying to put the ball over the top of Chris Bond. You know, you can sort of telegraph, you know, like with any sport really, these passes can be telegraphed a little bit. If you know it's coming, it's a lot easier to defend.
Again, Aoki just getting a little facial action. This time it's Chris Bond. Chuck Aoki says he finds this sport relaxing. Begs the question, what else does he do?
Well, it's certainly focusing his mind anyway.
Plenty of concentration going on, and with the 4-3 advantage, Aoki will just take his time to score this try.
I don't know about you, but I'm not very relaxed up here. I'm quite excited actually.
It's lifted, not quite into fever pitch, but it's certainly been a substantial up in what we've seen on the first 3 days.
Yes, absolutely. It's turning into a great game.
Every picture tells a story.
Oh, another turnover there. Again, you know, the low pointer trying to inbound the ball, and they've had a couple of mistakes there.
They've got to make it count, and they do with that man, Chuck Aoki. Well, here we go. A significant score for the USA. How are Australia going to counteract it now? They call the timeout. Well, the coaches having their say. Let's have a say from courtside with Steve Brown. Steve, this is a fascinating encounter going on in front of us.
It really is, and it's interesting to see where the turnovers are coming from. Australia seems to be making all their hay on the inbounds, whether it's a high pointer or a low pointer inbounding. They seem to be covering the inbounds very easily from Australia, whereas Australia seems to be winning the ball in open play. It's when America looks like they're safe and they're home for goal, and then somehow either Bond or Batter getting their hand in the way and causing mischief there.
Steve, are you surprised that Australia still have that same starting four on the court?
No, I'm not at all. In terms of shape and the dynamics, I think this is the strongest that Australia can go out with. That's why they start with it, whereas you've got the depth and the room to change within the USA team.
Well, Australia's staying with that high-low setup for their team, but they really need to get some points on the board now.
US doing a great job in defence. The two two-pointers there, denied Bond, getting down anywhere near the key to score the point. Yeah, they're really pushing Australia here. Australia taking, you know, nearly 30 seconds to score that goal, score that try. You know, US will be really happy with this. Yeah, Riley back in there again with another reaching in foul. Allowed Aoki to push out.
Great work from Aoki with the stress and duress of the attention of those two, and yet able to get the scoring pass away at the same time. Here we go. Once again, Bat and Bond combining well. Oh, Chris Bond just tipping over, and that one is really going to hurt.
Yeah, there's a little bit of extras there from Chuck Aoki. You know, he's had quite a lot of aggravation out there from Bat and Bond. Been caught around the face a couple of times. I don't think intentionally, but he's just dishing a bit of it out himself.
Bit of retribution from the US number 5. You've got to admire Chris Bond because he is totally committed every time, be it in defence or attack. He is just 100%, isn't he?
He is, absolutely. And you know, people say he's not as good a player as Riley Bat. You know, Riley Bat is the best 3-5 in the world at the moment. But, you know, you've got to give him 10 out of 10 for effort. He's in on everything. He's aggressive in offence as well as in defence. he's a fantastic player to watch on the court.
And a great team man to boot. So back to a 3-try differential as Wheeler thinks about the long ball, finds Aoki. Aoki just managing to clear enough space, looking for the return pass. Has to throw a 50-50, which works out for them. That was fortuitous. Newby getting in the right place at the right time. Aoki coming up to take the return pass. And under pressure, a very well worked and important try for the Eagles.
Ryan Scott there did fantastically well against Chuck Aoki. He had him held up mid-court. It allowed Ambon to pressure the other players. Aoki did really, really well to get that pass away. Remember, they've got no timeouts left, so he's got to rely on that pass to get him out of the defensive half.
Bond with enough pace and power to get outside his man. Just no time to draw breath in this game. It has been absolutely relentless from the first tip-off.
You can see here that they're manoeuvring the two half-pointers, Nazim and Scott, onto Chuck Aoki now. So Chuck Aoki is stuck, he can't move. We've got Riley Batt, they're playing a 1 point and a 2-5. So, but hey, there we go, Chuck Aoki's got away.
Well, we talk about working in triangles with sports of so many different types, be it football, rugby or basketball, and there wheelchair rugby proving the case once again. The training that's gone in for both these teams, of course, really paying dividends on the court. We saw that wheel change, we saw Wheeler's name on it. Is that a turnover call? Eric Newby thinks it is, and look at the celebrations in the US camp.
Yeah, I think that the referee has called that Riley Batt went in the meter. You're not allowed to travel within the meter of the person inbounding the ball, whether in offense or defense. So, yeah, that's a turnover ball to US. Australia making a few very simple mistakes here. You would not expect them to be doing this sort of thing. That's the first one I've seen in the whole tournament.
Oh, Wheeler can't control it, and of course it goes back into his own half. I mentioned Wheeler, and we saw the name of Wheeler on the wheels. Do they all have their own particular wheels and settings for every chair being different?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some players use 24-inch wheels, some use 25, some use 26. They'll have different setups on their push rims and spoke guards as well. So a lot of the low pointers have like a rubber material. You see US's low pointer coming down there, his rims are like a red colour, so they're coated in a rubber, which gives them more traction when he's pushing. The high pointers may have like a tacky material on them.
Well, Chris Bond coming up behind Newby, fed up with smelling the fumes, decides to upend his man.
So yeah, every player will have maybe 3-4 spare wheels on court. You see, they get lots and lots of punches, and there'll be somebody out the back with a set of tyre levers and a pump, changing the inner tubes, pumping them back up, so they're ready to go again.
Martin and I were looking at the wheelchairs before play started today, and it's amazing how tacky the actual rim is, in order that they can maintain control of their wheels, and steering then is obviously vital.
Well, remember, these players, particularly the mid and low pointers, and the high pointers as well, actually, they've got impairments in their arms and hands. So they'll use like a handball wax or a tacky material to help give them grip and traction. It's like having a bit of a gear on there, really. They'll also have the tackiness down close to the axle. So you'll see some of them push off the rim, between the rim and the axle. So that's almost like giving them higher gearing.
Right, looks like Chris Bond has been sent to the bin for that challenge. So 4 against 3 advantage for the USA. Looking to build on that lead now. You can see the manoeuvring going on away from the ball.
again now, running this time off. They've got a free try advantage at the moment. They don't have to rush. The longer they can take to score this point, the better. Chris Bond calling that penalty foul would have put the clock back to 40 seconds again. So, like I said before, they can almost run a minute on.
Bond comes back on to find his team once again. 4 tries behind, throws long. Bat turns on the afterburners, and there's nobody going to catch that man when he's out in front.
Great race from Josh Wheeler. You see Riley Bat just gave him a tap as he was coming up alongside Wheeler. You know, he changes direction, loses momentum, makes it much easier for Riley to score.
The Tucson Renegade speedster has shown time and time again his value to the team. There's Aoki trying to make the most of that, and Bat hits the deck, and Eric Newby just stoops over him and says, "You okay, bud?" Or something along those lines.
Yeah, possibly not that.
You think?
Well,
watch it.
Yeah. See, Bat went in there then to try and flick Chuck Aoki over. I think that's why Newby was remonstrating to him, I think.
4-try key defence from the US. Not going to stop Batman. No need for Robin when Batman's in form like this. Aoki on the counter-attack. But look who's back there. It's Bat, but that's great steering and control from Aoki.
Fantastic skill. He used the momentum of Riley Bat then to turn himself around Bat to score the point. You know, very, very clever play. But great court race as well. You know, Chuck Aoki, he's got the measure of Riley Bat. Very, very quick player, as is Josh Wheeler actually. So they've got that great pace on the court.
Into the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. And still, the USA keeping their noses in front. Bat happy to go back in through the heavy traffic. Has that control and that facility. I think his sat-nav's gone a bit AWOL there though.
That was fantastic key defence by USA. Bond actually helped them out a little bit here because he pushed Chuck Aoki across to the corner. We didn't actually see it on this replay, but he pushed him across the corner, which closed the gap. Riley couldn't score off that corner.
Now, just looking to see as Brad Doubly has a chat with his team. Doubly, to be fair, says this is a different team from last year's World Championships. Indeed, a different team from the 2012 Paralympics. But it is a team that's established itself fairly quickly as such a dominant force in the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, this team is the team that was at London 2012 and Denmark, this first 4. You know, he has got new players on the bench, but he's not using them here. He's staying with his A lineup, and they still can't get in.
Good work from the US, and the bat away is from Newby, and there's a turnover for the Eagles. Now they can really make this advantage into a concrete barrier for the Australians. Aoki's going to have to make sure he gets over there, getting the warning call from his teammates. And now it is a significant lead for the USA.
It's not very often you see Riley Bat without a smile on his face on the court, but he's certainly not smiling at the moment.
Key defence for the US again, holding firm. The offload then finds Bond at the back door. Long pass for Wheeler. He's got company. He's got control as well, and he's got Aoki up on his shoulder. Try time, USA.
Aoki will be pleased with that because there's still 40 seconds on the clock. It's going to be hard for Australia to run all this time off. They're going to score. They'll try and run it off. US will try and make them score, you know, and this sort of clock pressure is going to make it, you know, make it pretty hard.
The call is from Australia, although I think the problem is Chuck Aoki's wheel there.
Yeah, Aoki had an equipment because he's, you know, between Australia and the line. He's able to call that. I mean, it's a real disadvantage if he's got a flat because he you know, he can't manoeuvre his chair around. What it does do is give US a chance to reform and reset their press again.
Happy to just let the clock work its way down before he mounts the attack.
Great work there by Erdem, look, cutting that space on the corner.
Newby out to Wheeler now, looking to make this count with the last possible play. Aoki turns it back into a 5-try advantage.
There's still time for them to score as well. 4 seconds, they can do it in 4.
Such a quick changing game. Bats the ball, pardon the pun, but that was it. And the hooter ends that third quarter and the USA are still in front. Can they hold on to it in the final 8 minutes of this game and provide the first real big upset of this tournament? At the end of the third quarter, they're on their way. They lead 46-41.
Well, potentially a huge shock on the cards here as the USA, the 3rd seeds, lead the number 1 seeds, Australia, 46 points to 41. Can they keep this lead? Can they extend this lead? Time to hand back to our commentary team, Mike Spence, Simon Ward.
Thanks, Martin. Well, significantly, for the first time in this game, we have got changes off the Australia bench. Jason Lees and Josh Hose coming on. Riley Batt still there wearing 3. And they have got to be able to change things in this final 8 minutes, or they have no chance of gold tomorrow. More challenges technically for the kit man. Josh Delagrave just having final adjustments. Mike, do you see tactical changes in the way that Australia are going to play now that they've made these adjustments in their court 4?
Well, they're using Josh Hose at 3-pointer, and they brought on Jason Lees, haven't they? Who's a 1. I mean, I don't know. I would have thought this was a bit of a step down, really. But we'll see what happens.
Riley Barrett, for the most direct way, Hose gives him the ball back. Handed over the ball there. Try being given, I think, as Hose, as long as he gets 2 wheels over that one line, it's try time, don't forget. So, try scored there. Delagrave finding his way around the outside. Hose tries to close the door. But great steering from the USA 14.
A real bit of razzle-dazzle there from Joe Delagrave. You know, dropping the shoulder, bit of show and go on Josh Hose. Just left him standing or sitting.
Only you can say that. Hose now trying to get this Australian attack going once again. With plenty of attention. Lees is the man in the open. That takes over possession, but hemmed in there. Look at the pick going on there from Butler. Release to Hose. Delagrave working so hard as the shot clock heads towards 0, but in in the end, Josh Ho's able to finish things off.
He doesn't look very comfortable out there, Josh Hose. I don't know whether he's injured but he just didn't look very comfortable at all.
Well, he's been waiting a long time to get on the court, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
Oh, Bat takes the top on Aoki, gets a bit of his own back on the Batman. Just look at these hits, straight in.
You know, that was a legal hit as well. Aoki got him in front of the axle, so that's perfectly legal. Bat is flying along. He sits very high in his chair. He's very top heavy. He's got no weight in his legs, so it's much easier for him to go over than it would be for somebody with legs and full torso.
Right, a chance for Australia to pull negativity back to 3. Bat finds it, inside pass. What's the call?
Well, that is US turnover. I think the referee reckoned that Josh Hose there contacted. Yeah, they were both going for the ball, and the referee obviously thought that Josh Hose there contacted Seth McBride.
So, turnover ball for the Eagles. Aoki goes straight to the other end. Bat trying to be the deterrent. And working well, so turnover after turnover.
Yeah, Aoki played back there right to the line, was pushed out of court. Sometimes they'll call that as a goal, sometimes they won't, or as a try, sometimes they won't. They're having real problems getting this ball in here.
Aoki quick to make the difference as Delagrave reverses to success.
Yeah, as Steve said earlier on, USA are making inroads on the Australian inbounds, particularly from the baseline.
It's up to Bat.
Hose whacked as he released the ball. Bat scores, but Hose has hit the deck on this far end.
Yeah, Hose not having a very good game here. The thing is, if you're inbounding the ball and your success rate is not 100%, I suppose it's like with a number 10 kicking goals in a rugby union game. It starts to play on your psyche, starts to get in your head. You start putting pressure on yourself, and it makes it doubly hard to get the ball in.
Delagrave showing his strength once again, roaring home. And once again, it's a significant score. 50 points now for the USA. 6-try advantage. The loose ball, the turnover ball, Delagrave says, mine. Aoki gets himself clear. Delagrave working into the opposition half, and now everything seems to be going the US way. Momentum totally with the Eagles right now. There doesn't seem to be much Australia can do to change the flow.
Well, we've got a seven-point lead here now. I think that's pretty unsurmountable, really, with 5 minutes only left on the clock.
Once again, Josh Hose is tipped up. There's Matt Lewis, the other 3.5er that really hasn't been used at all through the course of this game.
Poor old Josh Hose, he's getting a real battering here.
Certainly seems to have been unsettled since he's come off the bench and not able to click into the rhythm of this game. High tempo rhythm that it is. Right, Chris Bond back on. Riley Bat being taken off. Can't remember the last time that's happened in a high profile game like this. Bond with his batteries recharged. Fine. Here's the call from Delagrave. It's the little lob pass over the top, finished off so easily by the Eagles 14.
Yeah, really nice play there. We've got Andrew Harrison on now for Australia. Again, it's going to be really hard for him. He's had hardly any play in the whole of the tournament. Now he's expected to come on and you know, perform at the highest level.
Chris Bond just temporarily out of the game as he topples over. All the timeouts from the court now have been used.
I mean, it really looks now that, like Australia are just playing the game out. I don't think they can pull this back.
Just over 4 minutes left. Bond and a little show and go, but there was nobody open to take the pass. Trying to hand over to Cameron Carr. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. This time it does work. And Carr in the right place at the right time to get the try on the board.
When you're attacking that key defence, the players are only allowed in there for 10 seconds. So if you stop one attack, you know, all the players that are in there, they're all got to come back out again and reset. Just runs time off the clock.
Delagrave with a supercharged response. Buffalo gets a call to Harrison, from Harrison I should say. As you say, just the vim and vigour just reducing now as the inevitability of that advantage is rammed home for Australia. McBride squeezes his way in for another one. In terms of the world of wheelchair rugby, Mike, how big a shock is this? Or is it?
Well, I think USA have always... they've always had the potential to beat Australia. They've not beaten Australia, like we've said, in a major tournament for quite a long time. I mean, this really, it's turning this now into a brilliant tournament. US are going to go into a final of a major tournament, first time since 2010. You know, I mean, that's brilliant, and it'll be, you know, we've got a second game, Canada and Japan, which again looks really, really close. You know, we can have a completely new final here.
So does it upset the firmament of wheelchair rugby? Or is it just one of those things where any one of the top 4 sides could beat any of the others on any given day?
Well, I think it's showing now that that's probably the case. You know, these four teams are very, very close, very, very close together, which you know, makes all these tournaments very, very exciting. You're not getting those. You know, I mean, the last time Australia played US beat them by 12 points. Before that, 30 points. We're not having those margins now in the games.
Bodes well for the sport, no question about that.
Well, it's much more exciting to watch a game like this with 3 or 4 point margin than one with 20 points.
Carr with the inbound to Bond. Just see Australia realising their predicament now. It's very frenzied around that key. I just feel like suddenly the action goes into fast forward. Good finish in the end from Harrison.
We've got Della and Brackett back on now. I mean, Brackett is a real newbie to the US team. He came at his first tournament, Toronto 2015, to the Parapan Cup. He'll be enjoying being out here now. They've just got to make sure they protect the lead and that this game just goes goal for goal now.
Trying to find his way through a gap that reduced significantly as he approached the key, but the offload is there.
Well, he sucks those 2 players into the middle of the key. That gives plenty of space around him to lay off.
Della, who plays for the wonderfully named Shepherd Smash. Sounds like something you should have minced beef to. Well, Smash is what Rob Della's done since he's come off the bench, and those tries just keep coming in for the USA now. Key call from the officials.
Yeah, there's a foul there. Yeah, Brackett reaching in foul there, so he goes off. Silly really, because they had that defence really tight and tied up. Didn't really need to go in with his hands there. But maybe that's just a little bit of inexperience.
Complete 4 change for the Australians brings Bat and Co back into the fray. First sighting of Matt Lewis, there he is, wearing 22. Simple offload to the Batman and brings Clayton Brackett back into the play.
Yeah, Matt Lewis is another player for the future. He has the same classification and physicality as Bat and Bond. Really wants to prove himself out there. Great work there from Rob Della. They're drawing that contact again. Riley Bat going in with the hands. They had Della tied up. He's just giving them back possession and another 40 seconds on the shot clock to run off 4-on-3.
So does that go down to over-enthusiasm?
I imagine Riley Bat's probably pretty frustrated out there. He hasn't been in this situation for quite a long time.
Certainly been a very special match in so many different ways. Both of these semi-finals so tight to call from the outset. The USA have provided the first shock of the day with this victory.
Riley in his interview was talking, wasn't he, about Australia winning the Rugby World Cup and Australia winning the World Wheelchair Rugby Challenge.
Like that. We show no delight whatsoever in that statement, of course. Matt Lewis facing a full-on frontal attack at Newby, coming away with the ball. That's good work from Matt Lewis. There you go. The pass from Newby, just losing in the communication between the 3 Eagles players there.
He was getting under pressure on the inbound. He had to get that ball in.
Inbound from Lewis into the final minute of this game. Oh, beautiful steering from Bat, slaloming his way through, finding a gap that you couldn't see with the naked eye.
Great pressure here from Riley on Newby. He's not got the timeouts. He's going to have to sling the ball. He does for Brackett. Does a great job.
Brackett moving in reverse. What about the dexterity of Clayton Brackett there? Well, we've seen these players work at pace to the front, with balance to the sides. Clayton Brackett showing he had the capacity here. Here we go. That's more than Thomas the Tank Engine. Look at that, and the offload as well. Great stuff from Brackett.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more like Gordon, wasn't he? The express train.
Certainly playing like him. As Newby trying to find a space. There it is. Takes the call. 30 seconds to go. Newby with the offload. Della wasn't looking.
USA got to be very, very careful here. They don't want to be throwing this game away. We've still got 25 seconds.
This Is that still feasible?
Well, yeah, it is.
So big congestion down in that corner grid. Well, I was about to say, how are they going to get it away? Riley Bat shows how to do it, but Della gets his hand in there, and back Newby, and that was a very important interception.
It really was, yeah, because that was coming right down onto Ryan Scott's lap.
Just when it looked like it was gridlocked in that corner. Bat with that huge clearance, and Newby covering the bases to get in ahead of Ryan Scott. It's done now, and Riley Bat knows it.
Yeah, I think Bat hit Erdem out of bounds there. So this is going to be possession for Newby. They can just pass this ball in, take possession and run the clock down.
No call from Rob Della. Heading through the cone.
There we go, Riley's setting himself up now to score at least score the last goal.
Makes the call, gets the ball, scores the try. Newby holding on to it, and the USA holding on to the victory. Well, Australia have blown their chance of a Rugby World Cup doubleheader. The USA have got a final to look forward to tomorrow. After the break, we'll hear the thoughts of